It's important to put that in a context and how we do sub-advisory at banks. It's pretty much the model you mentioned for Nordea just before. We don't need an innovation on the product. We are sourcing a manager who is not particularly known in Europe, not having the same client bases than we have, and we are working on a complementary basis. It means they are bringing us really capabilities we don't have in terms of asset management, and we are bringing them a structuring capabilities and a distribution capabilities they don't have. Based on that, effectively, we are always working with exclusivity, and in order also to match the expectation, we tend to be very transparent at the beginning and to set up milestones over time in terms of asset risings, but also in terms of performance expectation. In one case, we don't have an exclusivity agreement. It's in emerging markets, for example. We have developed internally a proper asset allocation methodology, and that's why we're appointing the managers just for the stock picking. But understanding that, it's really how we are structuring the sub-advisory is always on a complementary basis. We're not really making a sub-advisory in order to optimize regulation purposes.
It is in the way we manage our portfolios. For example, the portfolios I manage, effectively it's a team of managers at external asset management houses, and each manager just invests in 10 stocks. So basically, one of the beauties of sub-advised mandates is that if you identify a manager that's an alpha generator and you realise the majority of his alpha, it comes from just a handful of names, you don't have to buy his whole fund, 70 stocks, 50 stocks. You can do what I do and just say, well, how about I give you a mandate within my funds and you just invest in those 10 stocks, because what I want is just the alpha. I don't want the padding. So we heavily, the team I'm in, we heavily use customised mandates, and I think if you're not doing the offering whereby you bring in a new manager to a different market, then the other angle you can do with sub-advisory is to take an existing manager's capabilities and offer something new and unique to the market in terms of a solution that you create, which is what effectively we do.
Well, in general, what we will be doing is to give specific guidelines to the managers, but in general is to make our mandates a bit purer than the average retail funds they might manage, or similar to the institutional mandates they manage. But not, my experience is that we don't tend to restrict too much the investment process of the manager. We don't want to rein them in what they do, so we let them implement their process, maybe some tweaks here and there in terms of what they can do off index particularly. But other than that, we invest in our process, and we believe that it's better to leave the manager to, play the way he's used to. Yeah.
But what's the rationale for asking a manager to run a bespoke mandate? You mainly use sub-advised assets, multi-manager funds.
Yes, we have manager mandate funds. So also, to some extent, in portfolio construction, we might want to have specific managers playing specific types of sectors, or have a specific style to blend all the managers with this specific manager. So this is why we think in terms of portfolio construction perspective, not only the individual mandate.
Most manager selection is, to my knowledge and at least my experience, is done in a way to identify a skill set of a manager. The more you box the manager in a different direction from where his natural skill set lies, the more you are risking that the manager cannot express conviction. So I think most people would go down the route of finding the right match between the product needed and the skill set had, and then try to let people alone and do what they have to do in the best way. We do, as I mentioned, run several sub-advisory mandates, and outside the ESG world, where it plays a role, in your world in particular, we haven't really come across someone who wanted to interfere with the mandate.
you.